It was Friday night, so me and my friend thought it would be a good idea to go to the movies or someplace cool, until we realized we weren't cool enough to go anywhere cool. So we went with the abandoned park, besides the random guy that doesn't realize he can live in a house. But whatever. We just started kicking the purple ball back and forth when all of a sudden this random guy came out of nowhere and he was like, "Hey, can I play?" And I was like, "No, punk." And he was like, "Then I guess I'll have to murderously murder you then. With this." As he took out a desk lamp, and I was like, "Ah!" And my friend was like, "Ah!" Then he slowly licked the bulb of the lamp, which probably didn't taste too good. So we started running, and we ran and ran and ran and ran and ran until we couldn't run anymore. Then the random guy came out of nowhere again, and he was like, "I just want to murder you a little bit." So we ran and ran, and then got some frozen yogurt, and then started running again until we couldn't run anymore. But at least the frozen yogurt was yummy. We looked around, and we didn't know where we were, or what time it was, or where my friend got that bracelet. It was like so awesome and stuff. Oh man, I was so jealous. But then, we found this random doll, and it's the creepiest thing when you squeezed it. And then we chucked it away in fear. But then it came flying back and hit my friend straight in the jaw, and she was like, "Ouch." And I was like, "Cool." And she was like, "Look out!" Which is when I saw thousands upon like 5 dolls flying at us. We took cover under the magical ironing board of magic until the mysterious ironing board vanished mysteriously. Then we did the only thing we knew how to do, besides the addition of single letter numbers. We teleported to my house barely with our lives. But evil dudes in masks had ransacked my house, and they were killing everyone, like it was the Boston Masquerade or something. And I don't even live in New York, so why would the Boston Masquerade be in town? We retreated to the basement, where we discovered that I had a ping pong table, and we played an intense round to 21. And during the match point, I was like, "You're going down, my friend that has no name." And she was like, "Look out!" And I was like, "Oh, not again." And another random person was like, "Oh, yes, again." And she pulled out her soup can, which she wanted to murder us with murderously. She chased us all the way to some random other place where she started making horrible soup puns like, "I'm going to make noodles come out of your stomach," and "Could you scream any chowder?" But I really didn't get the first one. But then out of nowhere again, the first random guy was like, "Only I can make murder puns." And the second girl was like, "That is so not stew." And then the first guy pulled out his desk lamp and had an all-out battle with the second random girl. And it was like, ching! Thump. Pow! Bang. Wham! Thump! Bang. Pow. Epic. Epic. Wham! Death. And then we used our disappearing powers we gained from this flower that my friend that still doesn't have a name found while they were fighting epically. Then we used our teleporting powers to go back to my house where we went on Facebook. And I was like, OMG. And this jerk, Susie Lukenmierston, was like, "Dislike." And I was like, "What the heck, brah?" And my friend was like, "Yeah, yo." And then we fell out of our chairs and into a random place again, where the random guy from the park was dead. And we were like, And then a fifth random guy popped out of nowhere with a pistol and was like, "I'm not going to murder you." And I was like, "Oh, thank goodness." And then my friend was like, "Look out!" And then I turned around and like nothing was there. And then I looked at her and I was like, "Look out!" And there was a second random girl with her can and bashed my friend across the head with it. And then she opened the can and started eating the soup deliciously. But while she was eating, the fifth random guy came out of nowhere and shot her in the foot and then himself in the foot. They both hopped around and died, leaving me the only person not dead in the world with a half-eaten can of soup, which I started to eat, until I realized there was carrots in it, which was the twist ending this horror story called for. The end.